Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Drive Pink Dialogue. Inter Miami falls to Atlanta United 2-1 with a 94th minute goal for Atlanta United by Jandé Silva. Inter Miami's and Atlanta are going to Game 3 next Saturday in Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale. Disappointing that we've gotten to this point, but I think it's hard to say it's not deserved. Inter Miami, played fine, but when you get into the playoffs, fine on the road is not good enough. And so they give up the goal at the last minute. We like to do these post-game reactions just to get a feel for how everyone is sort of feeling, emotional reactions, not as much analytical. I mean, we'll rewatch the game tomorrow to get a better sense of what went down. But for now, gut reaction. Saur, how are you feeling after watching that dagger at the end?
Before tonight, Inter Miami had never lost a game after scoring first. We were 13-0-0 this entire season. That's changed. Fully deserved to lose, man. You said we were fine. I thought we were bad. We were very bad for large parts of that game. Absolutely no penetration up top, no goal threat. For about 80 minutes, we had 0.79 XG. Atlanta was the better team, deserved to win, showed heart, and they did what Inter Miami often does to other teams. Score at the end and absolutely take the wind out of our playoff run so far. Game 3, man, bring it on.
Game 3, bring it on. Noah Allen, I thought played really, really well. I would have taken David Martinez out instead of Noah Allen.
I thought David Martinez was really good. I really like what he was doing, especially towards the end with some of the defensive transitions that he was stopping. But yeah, I thought Noah Allen was the best defender that we had on the pitch. But I don't know why he got taken out at the time that he did.
Yeah, I get it. You want to go for the game. You want to get another attacker on the field. I just would have taken David Martinez. I thought he was the sloppiest of the defenders, actually. He had some moments going forward, like he always does. But defensively, I thought he had a couple poor moments and a couple bad passes. That's fine. That's not why we lost. Let's talk about Yannick Bright, who got injured at halftime. There was no way Tata Martino is making that sub for Benjamin Kramaski at halftime unless it's an injury-related sub. They did confirm that on the broadcast. 25 minutes later, that was for injury. The last two subs, though, Matías Rojas and Campana, come on. I actually was okay with these because I felt that they were going to give you an attacking dimension that you really didn't have. But they came too late. They came in the 81st, 82nd minute.
Yeah,
83rd minute. They needed to come in the 65th minute. And again, it's just Tata in the biggest moments not being able to push the right buttons mid-game to change the nature of the game. And so if Inter Miami doesn't get a lead within the first 60 minutes and the other team gets momentum late, they're going to either need a moment of magic or which they've done plenty of times this year, or they're going to lose or finish with a draw or whatever the scoreline is, because Tata Martino just doesn't push the right buttons late in games, and that continues to be frustrating. Let's talk about Busquets, who missed this game. Really missed him, I thought. And I think because he wasn't there, we had to switch our formation to, what's probably going to be a bigger talking point tomorrow. But it looked to me for large portions of the game like it was more of a 5-3-2, which, as we've seen 100 times this year, actually like 7 times this year, it's an awful formation. It doesn't work for this team. But we'll dive in tomorrow when I rewatch the game to rant about that more. What do you want to talk about, man? It's just kind of disappointing right now.
Gut punching, man. Also, it's disappointing, but we expected this, right? Like Tata Martino, when it needs to be time to change a game, does not do it. First of all, sorry I wasn't there for the pre-game show. I had a couple of things that I need to take care of. I saw the lineup and my heart sank because I did not like it one bit. That 3 at the back without Sergio Busquets is not it. Just stick to the 4-3-3 if you don't have Busquets in there, because we just lose any ability to build out from the back without Busquets. He's the one that drives that game forward and allows our back line to be able to play from behind. But without him, it just doesn't exist. I thought we were lucky to go ahead in the first half. We didn't do enough offensively. And I texted you on the side, there's just no penetration. You were absolutely right to mention our transition offensively was really slow and cumbersome and beleaguered. It was just, yeah, it didn't click. Offensively, we were very poor. Both Messi, Suarez, very poor today. I don't think that either of them had a good game. Again, you can blame the AstroTurf. You could see Messi was struggling to dribble the way he normally does. Everything that we were trying to put in was blocked. Messi had some really, really good through balls at some points. Finishing was poor. Jordi Alba had a very poor game. I mentioned in our pregame show that for us to win this game, Jordi Alba needs to have a good game. I didn't think he had a particularly good game. Yeah, offensively, we were very bad. Midfield broke down once Yannick Bright went off. And after that, it's all in the hands of Tata Martino, man. I was fully prepared to go to penalties. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that I don't have to sit through that torture, because I'd rather go home to Chase Stadium and take this game to Atlanta again. But they are our biggest nemesis this season, and they've been an absolute thorn in our side, man.
I know. The only surprise in the last 20 minutes of that game is that it was Jean de Silva and not Sabalob Janitze that scored the final goal.
Well, he hit the post. So
I know. I thought that was going in for sure. Drake Callender, though, had a really nice game. He had a huge save on a Miranchuk shot in the first half, and then that second half save on Lobjanitse there. I actually would have much rather gone to penalties than lose in regulation, but I thought Drake Callender was going to come in with a lot of energy, and I thought we had good penalty takers on the field. But when you lose Yannick Bright and you are playing with sort of a two midfield set that one of them's Kramaski, you're really going to struggle. We saw how long it took for Bright and Redondo to sort of build into that two midfield set that they played today. It's really hard for Kramaski or David Ruiz or whoever to just step in and fill that role, because it's such a hugely important spot in the field, and it has a tremendous amount of responsibility, and you kind of have to be in the game flow. So you're right. When Yannick Bright left, even though I thought Kramaski was fine,
I thought Kramaski was good. Yeah,
he even had some nice moments in the final third. It changed the dynamic, and I thought we were off balance a little bit. But
also, Jordi Alba only passes to Messi, and I was so pissed off at some points today. I'm sorry, this is going to be an emotional reaction, so maybe my complete analysis changes tomorrow or when we do the post-game show. But there were moments where Jordi Alba was completely in the right spot to just square it into the middle. There was Diego Gomez, Luis Suarez, a couple of other players just waiting to run onto him. And he cuts it back to Messi, who's at an awful angle to try and shoot. I get it. Messi can shoot from anywhere and score anywhere. But sometimes you just got to find other players, right? And listen, Messi had some phenomenal moments in this game. There were a couple of chances in the second half late where he had that one volley that almost went in. He had that Olympico that he tried that hit Tiare's head and then went off the post. Some really good stuff happening, but I thought we were offensively very poor. No verticality, no offensive threat as such. I'd love to see what the XG stats are, because we didn't look good offensively, at least not in the first watch.
Well, and again, I want to rewatch the game before I make declarative statements about this sort of 5-3-2 setup where we had Messi playing centrally, Suarez playing centrally, and the only threat down the wide side is Jordi Alba. And when you do that, it allows the defense to play very narrow, very tight, clog up the middle. And maybe when I rewatch this, I'll just count the number of entry passes that were intercepted by Atlanta centrally, because
all of them,
too many bodies there. And that's why you need a player like Robert Taylor on the field. Sorry, I'm going to go into the rant before I want to. I do want to rewatch the game before I commit to that. But that's
by the way, we did have more XG than Atlanta, so that's fair. I think it was the last moments that we finally managed to grab it, but
yeah, but they didn't have any answers to actually break through. Okay, let's get to the chat. And guys, do us a favor. We got over 100 people watching right now. Hit the like button for us, because that really helps us out. Sean says, will Tata ever learn that Boosie or Bright need to always be in the game to keep structure? We missed them both. We missed Busquets the whole game. We missed Bright in the second half, desperately. And Anton says the game needed Robert Taylor for exactly what I was saying. You need a player in that front line that is going to spread that defense out.
Is it over? Is it over for Robert Taylor as an Inter Miami player?
Yeah. Unless there's injuries. Unless there's an injury. Yeah.
It's so sad, because there's a player there. I would still rate him very highly off the bench. He's disappeared since he signed that contract. He really has. And it's so sad to see, because every time he's on the pitch, he does stuff that I really enjoy seeing. But I don't know why Tata Martino absolutely does not rate Robert Taylor, even off the bench, which is mind-blowing to me, because he would start for any other MLS team, by the way. Any
Yeah, he's
I don't know what's going on there. Absolutely no idea.
He's exactly the type of winger that helps you open up a back four. And so I don't get it either. Rasta says, sadly, Bright had a hamstring injury. Listen, we talked about this in the pregame show. What 3 weeks off could do from a negative side, but we also talked about how it could be a get healthy moment. I was thinking that entire second half, man, I really hope they can win tonight so we get 3 weeks for Yannick Bright to recover from that hamstring injury, because if he misses next game, I'm a lot more nervous about game 3. I don't know, says, I know Halloween passed, but Mercedes-Benz Stadium is a haunted house for us.
Atlanta is a haunted team for us, man. It's honestly 4 games we've played against them. We managed to win 1, lost 2, and drawn 1. It's awful to play against this Atlanta team. Terrible. I was cursing my days that I have to talk again about them. And next week, we're going to have to do it again. And I just don't know what I'm going to say, because I don't want to talk about this Atlanta team anymore, man. I'm done with them. With them.
And listen, if Yannick Bright's not good to go, they're a lot scarier, because he's the guy that makes you a much better defensive team in defensive transition. Now, we talked about this pregame, or we talked about this after last game. We talked about it in the pregame. We talked about it in the midweek. This team looks so focused and so composed and so crisp last week, and it felt like that was just missing. And maybe that's because they went on the road. Maybe they got a little full of themselves. Maybe because they didn't feel like their back was against the wall in this game. I don't know, but they need that.
I think they started okay. They looked fine. They looked sharp, but then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And by the end of it, we were back to being into Miami of earlier season.
Yeah. Fred says our offense was so inefficient. All of our through balls.
Yeah, exactly the point you made.
When we do the post game tomorrow, we'll rewatch the game, but we will break down why the middle of the field was so clogged, because that's what it was. There was just too many bodies centrally, and Inter Miami did not do anything to counteract that. Anton says, really worried about what Bright's injury means. Hopefully he's going to be fine tomorrow, because I'll be really worried about next week if he's not good to go. I saw him come up limp. It was in like the 39th to 41st minute, somewhere in there. And then he kind of just ran it off. So I thought he was fine. But so hopefully the fact that he could finish out the first half means that it's not.
Yeah, I was going to say the same.
Rasta says, honestly, very disappointing game, but I feel like it's better to play one more week of football rather than have 3 weeks off, I guess. Listen, that's the silver lining, but I'd much rather be celebrating a win right now.
Exactly, yeah.
Busquets was heavily missed, says Taran. Yeah, and we talked about it. Patrick says, Diego Gomez should have been back in the midfield at halftime. Taylor put it the right wing. We needed creativity up front, and Gomez was not doing it tonight. Messi had to drop back for creativity. Absolutely. Excellent point, Patrick. I agree 100%.
That's exactly what I meant. Nobody to create from the deep. Redondo does not do it. I thought Redondo started the game well, but as the game wore on, I feel like when there's no creative outlet like Sergio Busquets in that middle, Redondo becomes a bit of a non-factor, right? He doesn't do anything bad, but he doesn't do anything good, and he's just there in the midfield.
That's what he is, right? And listen, he did get an assist on Inter Miami's goal, but you're right. You're right. Should we talk about that?
By the way, the one goal that we scored was the goofiest goal that we scored this season. Also, that was a fair goal. I don't know what Brad Guzan was doing there. He got bailed out by his players today. It was a bad goal to concede.
It was a fair goal, but it was certainly lucky for Inter Miami.
And what a finish by David Martinez, by the way.
What was the first goal from Atlanta? I can't remember for the life of me right now.
The header.
Pedro
Amador.
That was by the way, that's on David Martinez. He went for the header and he missed it. No. Yeah. David Martinez whiffs on that header. You'll see when you go look back.
Yeah, but a great ball by Pedro Amador. And another player, man. He's got 3 assists this playoffs. Like, he's been on fire. We talked
about Amador. He's been a sensation for them since they got him in the summer. Dava says they can't make forward passes, bro. Yeah, well, listen, one of the reasons they can't make forward passes is because all of the guys they have forward are playing in the middle of the pitch, and all of the defensive players are in the middle of the pitch. And so the only outlet to go forward is to go very wide. And you know who probably received the most forward passes in this game? It's just Chelo Wiegand sitting on that outside from, David Martinez or Redondo or Toto Aviles.
By the way, sorry, we looked so much better when Rojas was there. Like, we just looked so much better. Our attacking output just increased phenomenally when Rojas came on the pitch. there was absolutely no need to play the 5 at the back or the 3 at the back. Absolutely no need. If Sergio Busquets is not there to do that third man centre back role, just play a 4-3-3. Just play it simple, keep it simple, put Rojas in there with Bright and Redondo, and call it a day, because you win that game. You win that game with those 3 in the middle.
I will say I don't want to be too critical of Tata because we haven't seen Rojas for 90 minutes since his injury, but also based on how well we played going forward last week, I think he probably expected us to get 2 or 3 goals in this game, and I don't think that's unfair of him. Nuno's, but obviously as the way you played out, you would have hoped he would have made some.
This is an emotional reaction. Let me be emotional, okay? My fury and anger needs to be directed at somebody. It's either going to be Tata Martino or it's going to be you. So you pick a choice.
Nuno says that we need a vertical threat up front for sure. Listen, I think next season, I know we talk about Facundo Farias, but he's not like that burner over the top. He's quick, but he's, Diego Gomez, Robert Taylor. He's not like a real burner. I think that's a place they're going to look to upgrade this roster, is having one real speed option over the top. Rasa says, what I learned from this entire season and last season is that Tata is his worst enemy. There's a lot of moments that he couldn't make a difference because he's too stubborn to realize. Yeah, Taran says, Drake is my man of the match. Ash says, the turf really messed up the players' timing. Did you feel like the turf messed up the players' timing other than Messi? You didn't hear that? Okay, I think we lost you.
Sorry, I've been frozen for the last 5 minutes.
Okay,
I heard the word stubborn, so I'm guessing you were talking about Tata Martino, and I can't hear you now.
Did you?
And you
feel
said
like
something about Facundo Farias. So.
Did you feel like the turf was a big factor in this game outside of perhaps Lionel Messi? You did?
Yeah, I did. Okay, no, outside of Lionel Messi, I don't think so. But for Lionel Messi, for sure. His game style, the way he likes to dribble and take the ball on, I thought it did suffer because of the turf, for sure.
I'd agree with that. But again, it's one player. And the way Inter Miami played last week, they were so crisp, all 11 guys. And this week, not the same. Need a game 3 redemption from Nuno. Listen, we
don't have a choice. It's do or die. There's no redemption. There's just doing it.
It's really scary too, right? This team,
if we lose, we're done.
This team could play all the way until early December, and we're talking about a 6-week break for the off season. If they lose, we're talking about like a 10-week off season, and it's just bad vibes for the entire time. Davis says, only in Alba and Messi make good passes, crosses in the box. Not tonight, they didn't. Rohan says, how did this team, although Messi did have one where he cuts back on his right foot and pushes it across to Diego Gomez, and it was a nice play by the defender, but I thought for a second there it was going to be like a different type of Messi highlight that we haven't seen yet at Inter Miami. Rohan says,
since he lost today as well, so at least that's silver lining. That always helps.
And Columbus is on the verge, right? Columbus lost their first game to the Red Bulls, so if they lose,
I mean,
they play tomorrow.
Columbus is probably going to slap New York like 5-0 today. So I'm not even going to say anything on that.
That game's not tonight. But Rohan says, how did this team win at the Benz in 2020 with Shea as man of the match? Hey, don't hate on Shea. Breck Shea was a legend of this game and in this country. Ash says, took way too many passes into the box. Yeah, and it was all central. It was all central until the very end when they get Rojas and they're pushing way high up and Campana comes in. It was all central. I also thought one of the things that generally helps if you're trying to break down a low block is a guy who can get in the box and get on the end of crosses. And they didn't have that the entire game. And that's why, I texted you, Campana felt like a guy that was going to make a big difference in this game. And it just came too late, I think. I just
also
think
because he put him on the left. So like he put Campana on the left, and I thought Campana would have done better centrally.
Yeah, he drifted in centrally, but again, at that point in the game, when you're in the last 8 minutes, it's just like bombing numbers forward. There's no midfield, and so the cohesion and the collective playing
too late
together,
in the game.
It suffers. Yeah. Davis says they had to drop back in the midfield for the ball. Nuno says hindsight is 20/20. If we lost in pens, we would say that Tata should have taken more risks to win it in regulation. Yeah, but
did Tata take a risk though? Like Was that a risk putting Rojas and Campana on for Noah Allen and Gomez? I don't think that was a risk. That was a substitution you were guaranteed to make, right? You have to make those substitutions.
By the way, Cello should have stepped up. Like, are we giving Cello the blame for that last goal? Because he like starts to step up and then he takes a step back because he has a man to his right, but also no one's stopping John De Silva from taking that shot except Cello. I think he has to step up and force that pass wide.
Can I be honest?
What's up?
I saw Jean De Silva take that shot. I saw it go in, and I left my living room and booted my computer up. I was just done. I was done.
Suarez looks tired. Should have brought in Campana and Rojas, and the defense was lazy at the end. This is something Tata's afraid to do, is to take off Suarez when sometimes the game calls for it. I'm not sure this game called for it because it was still tied, but yeah. Ash says, I'm sending Cole to anyone that votes Tata manager of the year.
You should, Ash. Please do.
Here's the thing. The manager of the year is only for the 34 MLS games. And it feels like his worst performances have come in the CONCACAF Champions Cup or the Leagues Cup or in the MLS playoffs. So he might still win it. I don't know. Ash says, we need to crush Atlanta next game. If we come out with the performance we had last Friday, we're going to win that game, right?
Don't ask me these questions, Scotty. Don't ask me these questions. At this point in time, I don't trust my team to perform. Okay, I just don't. I genuinely think we might be out next weekend. I genuinely think that's going to be the case. It's going to be really, really scary, man. Join us in that next pregame show because I'm going to be an absolute brick of nerves, and it's not going to be a pleasant sight at all. At all. Oh, I can't believe we have to do this again. I was so ready to do like a normal episode to talk about everything around Inter Miami and not talk about a game. And now here we are having to do another pregame show where Atlanta is going to be a topic of discussion. Sorry. I'm going to get emotional.
No, I get it. And I also am looking forward to putting this team behind us. We talked about it the week before the final game of the regular season. We're like, I hope Atlanta doesn't go through. Like, I hope it's Montreal and DC in the play-in game, and then it's Montreal versus Atlanta, but it's in Montreal, so we're like, I still think Montreal's got it. And it goes to penalties, and of course Atlanta wins. And of course, here we are. We're still a better team than them. Like, we shouldn't be afraid of them, but it just feels like they just have the moments they need against us. It's very frustrating.
Always.
What would you have done differently if you were Tata?
Not play the 3-5-2 at the back. I would have played the 4-3-3 to start with. I would have put two defenders with Aviles and Martinez, Chelo Wigan, Alba. I would have Matas Rojas, Yannick Bright, and Federico Redondo in the middle, and then the front three that we went with. That simplifies the game a lot more, takes the onus away from Messi and Suarez to try and come back and create something, and you can allow players like Rojas and Redondo, maybe not Redondo, but Rojas, to find those balls into Messi, who can then accelerate from the final third rather than having to come back and create something from there. Use some of the outer flanks a lot more. Jordi Alba, I thought, could have done a lot better. If you're playing that three-man back line, bring in Gomez once Bright's injured. Put Robert Taylor up top. Have Jordi Alba and Robert Taylor play that combination that they love to do on the sides. Yeah, so many different things, man. And this is just 2-3 things that I'm thinking of the top of my head. I'm pretty sure by the time we do the post-game show, I will think of 5 things that I would do differently than Tata Martino.
Yeah.
And that should be a segment, actually.
I do wonder if there's a world for Julian Gressel has an impact with those
I think so. He hasn't played a single minute this playoffs.
I know. And I don't think he's going to play unless Inter Miami's up multiple goals. Robert Taylor, same thing, man. On that left side, creating space. We're going to get into that tomorrow because it's really frustrating. But Patrick says Inter Miami needs to win the midfield. If Messi needs to drop back behind the center line, we are in trouble. If the midfield is strong and the ball gets to Messi in the final third, we destroyed the opposition. By the way, I know he touched the ball a lot in the last 15 minutes of the game, but I thought we struggled to get Messi the ball for much of the first 75 minutes. And in a, this is absolutely right.
In dangerous positions.
Yeah, high up the field. Well, even at all, really. I thought his touches were down, and they got up sort of at the end, but I thought we were struggling to get him the ball. And again, it's because he plays centrally, Suarez plays centrally, and they were just clogging the middle of the field because we had no one out wide to pull them apart. There was really nothing we could do about it. Wookie says, Tata's in-game management never fails to disappoint. Kropek says, please, they need to get Neymar. Talk about a player that'll help you spread out the back line. I don't know, says Hope Bright is okay. Hammy injury can be lingering, but Busquets is missed. Busquets should be back next week. Noah Allen is honestly my favorite player. Definitely man of the match for me, and I miss Frey today. Noah Allen was really, really good today. Drake Callender was really good today. Who else was like? Who else?
Do you want to know who the highest rated player on the team is according to stats? This is just, I know we don't do stats in this game. Yeah,
it's David Martinez, but he scored a goal.
I told you. So. No, I think he was good. I genuinely think first eye test he was good. I'll rewatch the game and I'll see what it is. But and I'll keep an eye on Martinez. But Messi was second best player on the pitch, so that's not surprising by any means. That's not surprising. But Messi can be more impactful. The things that Messi does well, it just didn't come off. Yeah,
he had a couple shots where he put him off target. One that he put high, and then one where Suarez hits the corner across the field, and Messi hits it first touch, and it's sort of on the outside of the post instead of the inside of the post. I think that might have snuck in if he puts it on target. But anyways, Joey says, I think y'all downplaying Messi a bit. He had a pass to Alba to Gomez that should have been 100% a goal. Then he had another pass to Alba. Alba skied the ball over the net 1v1. Messi was actually good. Listen, we watched Messi over the last 3 weeks have hat tricks and, 4 or 5 goal contribution games. And so by that standard, I thought it was a step down, even compared to what he did last week. But, he's still Messi, still amazing. Tata's a bad coach. Yeah, Tata's a bad coach. He will never take Suarez out, who can't move anymore after the 60th minute. It's sad to see. Inter Miami will simply not win. Kang says, where's the fridge?
I've got a beautiful cabinet right behind me today, guys. There's a change of scenery, so the fridge should be back soon enough.
Cello's the worst player on the field every game. What does he do? He's just a cone out there. You want to take that one?
I don't know what to say, man. He's there to fill a role. We need a right back. He's the only right back on the team available. He will play. He will play till the time we're in the playoffs, and we just have to deal with it. He wasn't bad. He wasn't great. He doesn't do much, but at least he touches the ball a few times. There's a couple of decent passes, and that's it.
He actually, other than that. He also had a limp in the second half in like the 85th minute. And I thought to myself, oh no, if he comes out, I don't know what we're going to do there. But you're right. There's no one else now that Ian Frey is injured.
We can't do anything about it.
Miami Muma says, Kramaski caused that second goal. Let's be for real. Just like you, I only watched it, I'll have to watch it again to assign blame.
Didn't watch it. Just literally saw the ball touch the back of the net and I was out of that room. Sorry.
Yeah. And like, again, that's the type of free runner that doesn't come through when Yannick Bright's on the field. So
why is it that every time we play Atlanta, there has to be an absolute worldie of a goal from outside the box? There's not been a single game where that hasn't happened, by the way. Jordi Alba last game, Xander De Silva this game, Lob Janitze like 2 times. Messi did it once against Atlanta in one of the 2 games. Like, it's just inevitable, and it's frustrating. I just want simple 5-0 hammering of Atlanta United at least once. At least once while we do this podcast.
I just want to crush every playoff team. Exactly. Why is that so hard to understand? Yeah. Ash says Redondo was playing said he was playing a new role in Tata's scheme. What is his natural role? He plays as a lone number 6 in a ball possession dominant team that plays in a very slow league, which is what happened in Argentina. And when he came to the MLS, the speed of the game sped up, the athleticism of the players sped up. And he was no longer had the positional discipline to keep up with them because he had to be more steps ahead than he had to be in Argentina. So now he's playing sort of a split 6/8, having to do both ball progression responsibilities while under pressure and only take half of the field. So he's actually
become better with press resistance. Like he
was always good.
He's had a couple of good moments where he drove the ball out well, dribbled it well, but again, he's recycling the ball decently, keeps it simple, doesn't complicate it too much. I think it's not the right time, at least in the playoffs, to try something spectacular in terms of passes and stuff. So I'm okay with him keeping it simple and recycling the ball. But when Busquets is not there, that's when I think Redondo's qualities become exponentially visible, or lack of qualities become exponentially visible. And you need someone like Busquets for Redondo to shine. You need a ball player next to him to be able to see what Redondo actually brings to the team. Without him, you're just lacking the tools.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to ask again because we got 120 people watching. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Ash says, Cello would be better if he kept back.
Yeah.
We're going to break this down in much more detail tomorrow. I don't even want to start going into this tonight, but we never had enough width going forward. And Jordi Alba does not provide you width because even though he can get open down that left side, defenders can just defend the receiver instead of the passer, and they can defend the ball equally as well. And so if you're Inter Miami, you have to create width among the back line. And they had 6 guys playing like in the central part of the pitch defensively. It's just, you're not going to be able to operate, even if you're Lionel Messi, in that type of situation. So you need to spread the ball out. And like Inter Miami didn't do that. Or you need to suck them out. Because there was a number of times, we didn't even talk about this. There was a number of times, especially in the first half, where they had set piece opportunities and the Inter Miami could hit out in transition, except their 2 guys in transition were Suarez and Messi, and they didn't have the athleticism. So, you know, one of the ways you can break down a blow block is to invite them out in the few occasions that they have the ball in sustained possession or set pieces or corners, whatever, then hit them in transition going the other way.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. By the way, we didn't mention this, and it probably doesn't really matter because we lost the game anyways, but they had a number of set pieces early in the game, both corners and, you know, in the play set pieces. I'm trying to find them.
And they were so good with their crosses, by the way.
7 corners. Well, guess what? They don't have their best target man in Stein Gregerson, who's, you know, 6'5". He was on the bench today.
Also, they don't have Brooks Lennon on the other side. If he was there, he's probably going to pop in twice in many. So Pedro Amador and Brooks Lennon on both sides, absolute nightmare to defend against.
They said Lennon had surgery. He's done for the year. So we don't have to worry about that next week. But Gregerson may be available next week.
Back.
If they're getting set pieces with the consistency they got tonight, you can imagine them scoring another one early and winning that game earlier in the game. Tata's tactics makes ball progression too slow, and the other team has time to drop back. Well, and your front line is not particularly athletic. Even, you know, Messi's quick, but he's not running 40-yard sprints past defenders. And so, you know, he's got short area quickness. And Suarez, you know, is tricky, but he's not
fast
or quick, right? Okay, let me try to see if there's any important quotes that we need to talk about. But give me your final thoughts on this one.
Disappointing, man. Very, very disappointing. I wish this game had ended differently. I was fully expecting it to go to penalties, and when it didn't, and the fact that it went in Atlanta's favor really crushed my spirits. I'm just going to go sleep this one off and hope that next time when Inter Miami plays this team, that's going to be the last of it, and we come out on the better side, because we're going to have to be on top of our game to beat them. They just don't go away. Just don't go away.
Yeah.
That's it, man. We'll be back next week, aren't we? With the same show, with the same pregame and the same postgame, because Atlanta refuses to go.
Well, hopefully we'll have a better post game. But yeah. All right, guys, that was just an emotional reaction. We'll be back tomorrow with our full game breakdown. We'll go into details about the tactics and player performances and give you a more clear understanding of what happened in this game. But for now, we will see you guys tomorrow. Try to enjoy the rest of your night, and you know, be safe. See you guys tomorrow. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Since our first viewer, sharing this with you all has been the very best part. So from the beginning until the end, thank you for being a part of this, and have a wonderful day.